What if starting over isn't failure, but an invitation to begin again? Greetings, and welcome back to the Healing Space with Empress Ali. If you're new here, let me share something with you. Go grab your journal, tell a friend, and get ready to tap right on in. All right, okay. Today's message is called You Can Begin Again. Okay? You can begin again. You can begin again. Okay? I'm gonna get close. We're gonna get close and personal. All right. See, sometimes we think that because something didn't work out, that we planned it how we planned it to work, that we are considered to be a failure. But what if it wasn't failure? What if it was information? What if it showed you what you needed to know before moving forward? Let me repeat that last one again. What if it showed you what you needed to know before moving forward? Some everyday examples look like: you can begin after a difficult season. You can begin again after making a mistake. You can begin again after losing your way. You can begin again after realizing something isn't working anymore. Okay, you can begin again after you've outgrown the person that you used to be. Beginning again doesn't erase what happened. No, it doesn't. It simply means that what happened doesn't get to determine what happens next. And while I have your attention within these first few minutes, feel free to like this video, comment. Be sure to comment. I do like to read the comments and things that you have to say and share about yourself. Don't be shy. Subscribe to this channel and make sure that you share this with someone else that you love who is open to receive it. Okay? Now, speaking of beginning again, all right, I want to share something, with you guys from my journey. I have had moments in my life where I've had to begin again, and I'm learning that beginning again doesn't mean I failed. No, it doesn't. It means I'm willing to acknowledge where I am and decide where I want to go from here. All right, so let me share something transparent. I'm gonna talk more in depth about this later on, but because this is in my right now moment, this is authentic and real and healing as I can be. Beginning again after a difficult season, changing direction, realizing something wasn't working, having to rebuild, starting something that I didn't know where it would lead to, and learning to trust myself again. Like, all of those things are tied into what has happened within my life over the last year or so. I have a beautiful Blessing. You may hear her in the background. All right, my beautiful princess. And within that, I did go through something that was not expected. You could have expected, but I didn't expect it. So, my goal and focus was to go natural with having my baby, and all the things, desiring to have the at-home birth or even going to a birthing center. The last option was to be in a hospital, and you can imagine what happened. Okay, the last option. And then from there, the last option, of course, I wanted to deliver naturally and how I wanted to be in whatever position that I desired to be in. The last option was having a cesarean surgery or C-section or whatever you may want to call it. And that happened. That alone made me as a new mom feel like I was a failure. And I was missing the parts of the simple fact that I'm healthy, I'm here, I'm blessed with a beautiful baby. The baby is healthy, all the things. She's so beautiful and such a joy to be around and to grow and learn from. Honey, these babies are here to teach us some things or two, okay? So that part of it I was missing. But then during my healing, I had to realize, what happened. Could I have changed that? In the moment, what I needed was there for me. I was very against a lot of the things and all of that. And again, I'm going to dive into it more so in a different episode. But I was against a lot of the last options. I'll just say that. All of my last options I had to deal with. And I was so against the last option. So you can only imagine how that made me feel, as an individual, as a woman, as a new mom, taking all of these different things on and having to begin again in that situation. Identifying who I am as, me, also learning the new me that I have as being a mom, those things, learning which direction that I desire to go in for my life and for her life. That's very, very important. And then realizing that some of the things that I did post pregnancy, way post, were not working for me in my now. And I had to, hey, rearrange some things, subtract some things, and add in some things, basically starting a journey in my life that I did not know where it would lead to. And here I am in the midst of everything else that I took on. And again, I will do a more in-depth video, but I'm just sharing this layer of it. In the middle of my healing, this is how we begin to have the healing space with Empress Ali. And it has been very helpful and beneficial to me. Yes, I do take my own notes. I go back over and watch my own videos. I feel that that's the best way for me to better me, okay, by watching me, okay? So that's something that I can share with you and be transparent with, and a little bit lengthy on this video, but that's okay. Just being honest about my being able to start over again. And as I say, there is lots of light being shed throughout what I consider to be a storm. All right, so I definitely wanted to be transparent there and share that with you within my transparent moment. So if there are any new moms out there, or any moms period, that have had a situation relating to mine, or not even that they have to be relating to mine, but something along the lines of, hey, you had a moment because it didn't go the way that you thought it went and you called yourself a failure. Or even after, welcoming the beautiful blessing, on this side, if there were certain things that you did or you didn't do and it made you feel like you were a failure. Just stepping into the motherhood lane alone, if that made you feel like a failure, you guys make sure that you leave me a comment in the comment section, because that's definitely something, that you have to make sure you forgive yourself for, so that you can be relieved of it and be able to move forward with it. Not saying that you forget these things, but that's a part of your healing journey. No one said that the healing journey is going to be all peaches and creams, okay? It comes with all things, all right? So, yes. Now, sometimes we spend so much time looking at what didn't work that we don't recognize the courage it took to try again. And just as I stated in my transparency moment, that's exactly what happened. I focused so much on the not so good things that I was so much against, that I hadn't taken a moment to realize, Yes, so that's a beautiful place, to be in, once you have really accepted it and you recognize it, for yourself, not to have anyone else to come and tell you, but to be in that space to recognize, all right, and acknowledge, and be able to process it, for yourself. That's some healing for you. No matter if you gotta be nice, nasty, with people or the person, or whatever the case may be. You're going through it, and you're gonna be just fine. Now, okay, we come out of that. Reflection questions. So I'm going to give you a moment to think about it, and to turn inward. All right, to turn inward. I digress. Okay. What is something you've been afraid to begin again? What is something you've been afraid to begin again? What would you do differently if you stopped viewing your past as failure and started viewing it as experience? And what are you ready to give yourself permission to begin again? You can answer all three of those in your journal, or, up here in your mind. But take time to give yourself a chance to turn inward. And for me, I would say, what would you do differently if you stopped viewing your past as failure and started viewing it as an experience? And I can only go back to my transparency moment, because I knew that I was not a failure, but just going through it in that moment, it felt like it. Okay, and so again, I had to realize that that was an experience that I went through. A way totally different experience, than the norm for me. Everything that I went through, and I'll definitely share more in detail about that experience. But yes, that was definitely an experience. It had its ups and it had its downs. Yeah, so yes. And I made it through. And it's still an everyday thing for me sometimes, but I made it through. All right, so I need you guys to repeat after me, okay? I give myself permission to begin again. Yes. My past does not define my future. I am allowed to change directions. I trust myself to take the next step. Beginning again is not failure, it is growth. Those are some wonderful affirmations to say to yourself when you are in those spaces. When you need to have that good uplifting for yourself, just remember those affirmations, all right? Before we close today's healing space, let's take a moment to breathe, all right? Let's take a moment to breathe. Take a slow breath in. Breathe in possibility and exhale what didn't work out. Breathe in new beginnings and release the fear of starting over. Breathe in courage and exhale doubt. And remind yourself that I can begin again. Let it sit, let it sit, let it sit, let it sit. So know that whatever happened yesterday, what didn't work before, whatever you thought you had lost, remember this. You can begin again. All right, you guys. Until next time, continue healing, continue growing, and continue becoming. And I'll see you next time right here in the healing space with Empress Ali. Peace, love, and much light.